Blockchain-based video games have been absolutely exploding. Even large projects can triple in price in a week. And these games are not only fun to play, but they can make you money. And it seems like people are finally beginning to realize the potential here. So what better time to look at the top 5 blockchain gaming projects. The first one on the list is Enjin. Enjin was founded in 2009, and they are a video game NFT platform built for issuing and trading NFTs of in-game items that runs on the Ethereum network. Essentially, Enjin is connecting blockchain technology to the video game world through these in-game items. And they do it a little bit differently than other services. So a special piece of armor or a fancy sword or any item that is part of a game could be issued on Enjin as an NFT. And then these items can be bought and sold on the Enjin platform between players or NFT enthusiasts just looking to collect. In-game items are minted on Enjin by locking up their native token ENJ into the item. This means that in-game items that players earn have inherent value, and developers can automatically profit off of these items as they're traded from player to player via commissions. And then on top of this, earlier this year, Enjin partnered with Labs Group to enable users to buy and sell NFTs of real-world fictionalized pieces of real estate for as little as $100 to, quote, enable smaller investors to invest in real estate. Now, I'm a little bit skeptical about this piece, but it's interesting considering Enjin's years of experience with NFTs. And also, I think we need to come up with a new name for virtual real estate, like fake estate, digistate. I don't know. Let me know your ideas in the comments. Now, why does Enjin have potential? It's attempting to break down the walls between games and the real world. This is similar to how NFTs have created an entirely new market by digitizing real-world art. Enjin is doing the same, but kind of in reverse. So they're taking digital items that have been centralized, controlled, and locked up in their own individual universe, and then giving them real-world value. So there's been a lot of talk about a multiverse where anyone can trade any item for another item. If Enjin or someone else crack this, they will be rewarded handsomely. And finally, video games bring in hundreds of billions of dollars every year, and that number is growing fast. If Enjin is able to tap into just a small piece of that, they will be again rewarded handsomely, especially considering that their current market cap is just over $1 billion. Now let's talk potential risks. The first potential risk I see for Enjin is adoption. The thing is, game development companies want to make money. So at the end of the day, no matter how good the idea of Enjin may sound, if developers feel like they can make more money using centralized systems, they may never touch Enjin. And the second risk I see for Enjin is the use of NFTs. NFTs being used as video game items is very exciting right now because it's a perfect use case, but we're still banking on NFTs, which is a brand new technology in itself. If for some reason NFTs die off or a better alternative pops up, Enjin may be hurt in the process, as well as every other game on this list. And this brings me to gaming crypto number 2, Decentraland. So Decentraland is a massive virtual sandbox game where the community can buy land and build whatever they want, or just enjoy the mini attractions that are already built on the game. Although land can be expensive. Very expensive. The entire Decentraland map is made up of 92,000 plots of land. Most landowners have just one parcel, some own chunks of like 5 to 10 parcels, and other parcels are owned in mass amounts by organizations. This game also has a huge variety of character customizations. You can buy accessories or utilities for your character using Decentraland's currency, Mana. Now, one of the most popular ways of utilizing land in this game is to build an NFT art museum and display your NFT collection on the game to either flex it or sell your pieces off. I know we're getting deep here. This displaying NFTs on NFTs, that inception. But when NFT art began becoming popular, Mana 5x in price due to it being a perfect setting for digital art. But it's not all about the land and the art. You can also play mini games, socialize with other users, and watch live events. Now, why does it have potential? Decentraland's Mana currency has solid tokenomics with a properly decentralized supply, and this gives the project a bit more trust. And on top of that, Decentraland has many solid partnerships and a small but mighty active user base. So regardless if you prefer another game over Decentraland, there's no question that it's one of the top dogs in blockchain gaming and worth looking into further. Now let's talk potential risks. And the first one is development. So Decentraland has always been a browser game, meaning anyone could play it. but they've run into performance issues over time being limited by the browser. And they're now in development of a desktop application. Now, my only worry here is that this transition to a desktop app is first going to affect the already small active user base, and second, take too long and that user base could begin to shrink. And then on top of this, it seems like the game may be behind its time a little bit. Compared to some other blockchain gaming projects, Decentraland's graphics and user interfaces seem a bit dated. Now, I do have to say that Decentraland's team says that they're working on these issues for that desktop app, and either way, it's still one to check into further. Now, third on the list, we have Sandbox. Sandbox started off as a simple, community-driven pixel art game that quickly gained traction in the years following its beta launch. Sandbox is similar to Decentraland, where anyone can do or build anything they want, so I'll be comparing the two pretty frequently. It also has its own universal currency, just like Mana, which is called Sand, S-A-N-D. And this currency can be used for buying and selling land or items, or even staking, which we love to hear. You can socialize in-game and play mini-games just like in Decentraland, but the major difference is the building. In Sandbox, any member of the community can use their free software to build assets for the game and then sell those assets in the in-game market as an NFT for the Sand token. So this feature is what sticks out most to me. It gives everyone an opportunity in the game to earn money. Now, what's the potential here? Sandbox has some solid partnerships that include the Smurfs, Care Bears, The Walking Dead, and even Atari. And a history of being able to land large partnerships is a very good sign for the future of the game. But the biggest appeal to me is the user experience. The game's graphics are very simple with a Minecraft-inspired style, and all the user interfaces are extremely simple to understand, meaning absolutely anyone can play this game. Then on top of this, consistent graphics gives the entire game, including everything that the community makes, a feeling of one cohesive piece, where with Decentraland, sometimes it feels like you're playing two different games depending on who developed what in the game. And either way, as far as virtual open world games go, Sandbox and Decentraland are definitely the two go-to investments for the space as of right now, although they may appeal to slightly different demographics. Now, here are the potential risks, and the risks I see are twofold. First, this is a small project, which means high volatility, and second, Sandbox games will be one of the most popular genres in decentralized games, and I do wonder if or when a competitor comes along and steals the spotlight from both Sandbox and Decentraland. With these games, you're banking on continuous innovation and user growth. Now, the fourth gaming crypto on this list is Illuvium. What is it? It is the first AAA game on the blockchain. And if you don't know what AAA means, it basically is just a very high budget game that an entire studio puts their efforts towards. Now, the little bits of content we've seen on the game so far look amazing. Illuvium was inspired by Pokemon, and just like Pokemon, it's a battle game where you collect creatures called Illuvials and battle other Illuvials. So Illuvials have different versions of themselves, just like in Pokemon, stronger and more rare versions of themselves. And then built into the game are interesting ways to craft new characters, random chances at rare characters, and armor. Now, why does it have potential? This game has potential for one big reason. Basically, it's a creation of every kid's imagination when playing Pokemon cards. Illuvium is taking an already proven concept in Pokemon and kind of bringing it to life. And there has been a lot of hype recently around Pokemon cards, especially first edition ones. And if Illuvium takes off and becomes popular, I wouldn't be surprised if their first generation Illuvials become worth a lot of money. On top of this, it's built on Immutable X, which is Ethereum's NFT layer 2 solution, which gives Illuvium access to instant NFT trading and minimal fees throughout the game. Now, there are risks. On paper, Illuvium seems like it's on track to be the best blockchain game out there, potentially even better than Axie Infinity. But the major risk is the developers actually delivering. The video game industry is notorious for overpromising and underperforming. The game is promising a lot, and we've still only received one cinematic trailer with no proof of gameplay or anything. So while it does seem like it could be a solid game, I'm going to stay hands off until we have more information. Now, the fifth gaming crypto on the list is Ultra. So for the last one, I wanted to do a small cap gem that's a lot riskier but has a ton of potential upside, and that's Ultra. So founded in 2017, Ultra is a decentralized platform for all products and services within the gaming industry. Their main services are first game distribution tools. These are back-end tools for developers that allow them to organize and manage DLCs, patches, versions of the game, and product stores. And second, digital markets. These are the markets for all types of digital goods, including game models or presets for developers to buy, buy subscription plans or even in-game items and NFTs. Now, what is the potential here? The reason I included this is it reminds me of Steam, which is used by basically everyone who plays PC games. Ultra seems to be aiming to do what Steam does, but build it around decentralization and games that take advantage of NFTs or cryptos. In a potential future where blockchain games become the norm, platforms like Ultra could be extremely helpful and investors could benefit in a huge way. So even though Ultra is relatively new and has ambitious goals, it's targeting a market that may end up growing exponentially larger, so it's definitely worth keeping an eye on. Now, there are risks. The highest risk is due to its size, and we need to be honest with ourselves. Most of the projects at Ultra's size end up dying a slow death and their tokens value slowly dwindles to zero. And then we have the risk of bigger fish. Steam was able to do what it did with PC gaming because it had a very popular game to give itself credibility, Half-Life. Ultra doesn't have that. So a big worry of mine is that some other player will come out with a popular game and then launch a platform and people will gravitate to that other platform away from Ultra. Now, with a market cap of just $160 million, I don't think they'll be bullied away just yet. So a good plan might be to keep an eye on it and see what kind of partnerships they secure and developments that they make in the next 6 months and then decide from there. Of course, none of this is financial advice. Now, we do have an honorable mention to add to the crypto gaming list as well, and that is Axie Infinity. I didn't include it on the list because it's an obvious number one due to its popularity, and I just did an in-depth video about it. Axie Infinity is also very similar to Pokemon with a strong user base and a multi-billion-dollar crypto coin, AXS. I will have my video on Axie linked in the description if you're interested in more information on them. And one last thing I wanted to remind you of is the inherent high risk of investing in gaming projects, especially blockchain ones. The thing is, video games get a lot of their appeal from people wanting to play the game and progress in them. So what do you think happens when they get far in the game or something new comes out? They've played it a lot, new games come out, and they leave to the new games. So naturally, because of this, games depreciate in value over time, which is why they're very, very risky investments. You're banking on the developers continually making the game better and better and growing that user base. So if you do end up investing in any of the projects I mentioned in this video, just make sure it aligns with your risk tolerance and that you diversify into other areas besides gaming cryptos. Always satisfy your safe investments first. And that's going to do it. If you'd like to see which, if any of these projects I end up personally buying, make sure you join my Patreon, a link below. In there, you will also get all of my buy and sell alerts, a private community, and much more in-depth content. I'd like to thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a profitable day.